Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Previously on Cognitive Recalibration. So we're going to definitively categorize each of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, the 23 that have released to date, into a tier. So they range from God, great, good, just a movie, not good, and trash.
I think the best part of the movie is when he gets his suit and he goes back to Afghanistan and he fucking melts everyone. Is this a God-level movie? Is this a God-tier
would you put
movie?
it on the same platform as a movie like Infinity War?
I would, yeah.
That's why I don't ask you for your opinion.
No, that's what I'm putting good as. I'm putting it as something you go out of your way to watch.
What?
Also, Iron Man 1 highlight is the suit up scene as well. Just want to put that out there.
You're going to keep giving us highlights throughout.
Do you need more lube, or are you going to stop jacking off now?
Everyone else's opinion is obviously different to mine in this one.
No, but I've rewatched it. I haven't rewatched it as much as other movies. Yeah. Okay, listen to me, baby. Once again, Tarun disagrees with the mob. You might think you're unique. You're just an idiot.
I would put this as just a movie. Just a movie. It's just a...
What?
To be honest, I want to put all these movies in just a movie, and you guys exploded them into...
I'm not talking about you.
So in God, we've got Captain America Winter Soldier. In Great, we've got Iron Man, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. In Good, we've got Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America First Avenger, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man. In Just a Movie, we got the two Iron Mans, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. And then in Not Good, we've got Thor the Dark World. Now let's get into part 2 where we talk about phase 3 of the MCU.
They start to get really good, actually. This is when it goes to next level.
2016, Captain America Civil War.
God tier. Holy fuck.
Yeah. God tier 100%. Yeah.
In fact, I even forget that this is Captain America Civil War, isn't it?
It is.
It's Captain America.
I keep thinking it's like a bloody Avengers movie. Yeah. Hey, it's so good. You got all the characters. You introduced to fucking...
Spider-Man, Black Panther.
Holy shit. I was just watching it. It's halfway up, I'm halfway through it upstairs. I'm like, there are so many iconic quotes in this movie. You're bringing back Bucky. All the reasons as to why they disagree. The actual moral tension between these characters is totally justified. It's like a conversation that nations often have comparing national sovereignty to the world. So yeah, I think this movie is so good. I'm going to struggle to know where to put it compared to other really good movies, but it was the first one that absolutely rammed it home for me. I was like, holy fuck. That was great.
Yeah, God. Yeah, I don't need to say anything about it.
Yeah.
Which God?
Shiva Vishnu.
That's two. That's two gods.
It's both of them.
I think Maisama.
Yeah, I have to agree with God. I think they did a fantastic job of bringing a lot of characters in. And yeah, I found it really difficult to side with one side particularly. Like, I couldn't just say, oh, Cap's right, Iron Man's right. They both had really valid points. And yeah, I feel like the end with Black Panther and the whole speech was a bit heartwarming. It was a good sort of end to the film as well. And Spider-Man was a highlight.
Rip Chadwick.
Indeed.
Yeah, Rip Chadwick. Poor guy. No, God's here, definitely. I think the best part of the movie was you have the initial fight against what you just said about the whole national sovereignty argument against free will and stuff. And then at the end, it just turns into Tony being pissed. A personal argument, right? With the fact that Bucky killed Tony's mum. And that was such a heartbreaking scene.
That's the thing. The only reason they would fight, Captain America and Tony wouldn't fight over a government issue.
Exactly.
They would talk it over. But when it gets personal, Captain America wouldn't fight Tony for whatever reason. It's only going to happen if Tony gets personal about it. Yeah.
The villain was sick as well. He had no powers, just pure menacing. He just knew where to go. And
he had a reason.
Exactly, yeah. Had a reason. And that's what I loved about it. It doesn't take someone who's stronger than any of them. He's probably the weakest out of all of them, right? And he just knew how to hit them hard. And that was what hit it home for me. That was sick.
And each scene that he's in, you show him fucking up one guy, and then later on you'll be like, oh, that's the guy who's fucked up. Shit, that's a clue. And so slowly builds up.
It's so good.
Yeah, God. There's no doubt about it. The airport scene is...
Is that the first unanimous one?
Is that the first time we've agreed with this motherfucker?
I think the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier we all said was...
No, he didn't say it was.
The airport scene's amazing. I think Black Panther in this movie is probably the best. He's better in this movie than even in his own movie, even in Black Panther.
No,
I used to think that. I think the action looks better because they actually filmed it, didn't they? In this? Like
The final battle in Black Panther is CGI, and this one's in a real suit.
Yeah, like in the... Well, in the final... In
the airport scene, it's... Yeah.
Oh, no, but in the Black Panther movie, it's heavily CGI.
Yeah.
It's
And
also
mostly in the dark as well. Like some of the scenes are
The fight scene at the end is all CGI.
The action with Black Panther is sick. Like when he
caravan.
chases Winter Soldier through the streets.
And then he takes his mask off at the end. You're like, oh,
It's the
bro.
hype as well, though, right? It's the first time you see him, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, who is it?" And you realize immediately.
And
oh,
in
it
this
has to
is
be
like
Chadwick.
he becomes like a subdued character after this.
Yeah.
He's like a bit more matured. In this is like rage.
Yeah.
Bruh,
It's just like full
that scene
rage.
is like, well, how long do you think you can save him from me?
Yeah.
To fucking Captain America of all people. You're like, oh man, this guy's got fucking
And then when
balls.
they bomb the United Nations, right? And he's talking to Black Widow, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll just go get him myself." He just gets
Yeah.
up and walks off.
No, I was just gonna kill him myself.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, it's dope. It's really good.
I'm gonna watch it
Very
after this.
dope.
And he
Watch it.
somehow, even though he's not a main
Watch
character,
Winter Soldier,
Watch
then
Winter
watch
Soldier
this.
and Civil War. Yeah.
even though he's not a main character, he still manages to have an arc towards the end where he doesn't kill the dude, and
Yeah.
he believes that he isn't supposed to die at that point, even though the entire movie he wants to kill him, he wants to like him so bad.
Yeah.
But such a good arc.
And they fucking bring back Ant-Man.
Yes,
Ant-Man.
yes. And he becomes
He's
Giant Man.
really good at this
Thanks for
movie.
thanking
Yeah.
of me. One of the all-time.
Sorry,
Does anyone have... Wait. Who's the one that... does he ask for oranges at the end?
Yeah, sorry.
I
Orange
lost my
slices. Orange slices.
I lost my shit. I lost it. I couldn't concentrate for the next fucking scene.
Yeah.
All I think is fucking like grade 3 soccer players asking for fucking oranges at the end.
And the
Spider-Man
one
as
scene,
well.
Spider-Man
the one
scene.
scene with
Oh,
Spider-Man, that is quintessential Spider-Man. Like the
Yeah.
scene with the old
In the house?
retro computers,
Yeah.
and he like you know how Tony goes to visit him, and
Yeah.
and he asks him why he does it, and it's like he has
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he says, "Oh, that's a really important thing." He's like, "If you have powers and people get hurt, then it's your fault."
yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah.
kind of your fault. Yeah.
That's so Spider-Man.
Now, for me, the best scene of Spider-Man was when he's fighting Winter Soldier. It's a small scene. He's fighting Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier punches him with his arm, and he just holds on to it. He's like, "You got a
It's
metal arm."
like, this
that's-
guy's got a metal arm, that's sick.
And everyone's like, "Shit, man, this guy's strong." Like people
And
forget
like
how strong
Falcons are
Spider-Man
getting
is.
so pissed off. He's like, does he say something about bugs? And like Ant-Man's fucked him over in the last
He's like,
movie.
everyone's got a gimmick.
Man, shut up.
He hits him with these webs, and the guy's like, "Are you producing these?"
It's just so good.
And
It's good.
Spider-Man keeps talking, right? It's like, have you ever been in a fight? You don't talk this much.
He's like, you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, fuck, it's good.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that movie's so good. Fucking hell.
All right, Doctor Strange.
All right, Doctor Strange, also in 2016.
Shit, this phase is hectic.
Yeah.
You're first, aren't you?
I actually don't like this movie that much. I think it's either low end good or just a movie. I'm going to say just a movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a low end good because I had a good time with the movie. I enjoyed the character's development. Miles Mikkelsen, I felt like he was a villain, but I mean he wasn't unique in a villain sense. But I thought the visuals of the movie were fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say good. Just because I really like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I thought he did a really good job portraying the arrogant Doctor at the start and, you know, losing his ability or what he values most, and then that character development I thought was really good. I'm not really, like, I wasn't really fussed with the villain. Even in the end, I felt like the whole time travel thing was very predictable when he reads that book. But I think the setting up of the time stone and the setting up of that world was done really, really well. And Tilda Swinton was really good as well. I really enjoyed her character as the ancient one. So yeah, I'm gonna go low. I'll go with good. I don't know where exactly, but good.
I'll go just a movie. I think visually it's amazing, but story-wise, it doesn't really offer that much. It's like what you said, just a typical Marvel.
Yeah,
origin.
it's got the villain's the same as the good guy, and yeah.
And I feel like in this movie, Doctor Strange was way too similar to Tony Stark in terms of his
character.
Yeah.
The same facial.
It's also very
Yeah.
deep-powered in this movie compared to what he's in.
Oh, yeah, Infinity War is
Consequence,
next level. Yeah. I'd say just a movie.
Damn, I actually I was about to put this in great, but you do make good points. That ending scene's a cop out, total cop out. Doesn't probably explain time travel or time loops or anything properly. I guess I'll say good. I just really liked this whole like dimension opening / the powers that he introduces. Awesome. at the start, obviously, like, you think he's an asshole. He does change. I think overall it's pretty cool I guess I really like it just for that, the mystical sense and dimension skipping powers and stuff like that. Having the time stone there just seemed like this amazing stone that just, it could do so much more. But I guess they're keeping that for later, so that's fine. I would say high good.
One of the things I just want to mention is that for this movie particularly, that like I felt was unique was Mordo's development, because at the start you see he's one of the most fervent like supporters of Tilda Swinton's character, and then you slowly see him becoming disillusioned throughout the movie, and you see that process and how they set him up for a villain, but I don't think they did anything with that.
They're going to.
Yeah. And so I really liked his development as a character. But yeah,
was there a second post-credit scene where he meets with Thor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's that movie. Yeah.
That's from Thor, right? It's just a scene from Thor, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah.
I said just a movie, and you guys all said good, so good.
2017, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I know this is going to be divisive between me and everyone. I already know this.
This was just a movie for me. Compared to the first one, I wasn't as invested in the story. The villain was just, I guess, the father. You could tell from the very start was just trying to trick. It was like a classic story of a son who was missing his father the entire time, gets tricked into the father again, and the father sort of like is the villain. I don't know. I didn't find anything too unique in this movie. I guess if anything, the best part about this for me was Drax again, because Drax always has the best comedic lines. But yeah, that's where I stand.
I'm teetering between just a movie and not good. I'll go just a movie. I don't know. The movie just didn't do anything for me, really. I felt like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 being so good. Like, I guess I had a lot of expectations for it. And yeah, just a movie for me.
Yeah, same for me, just a movie. The comedy in this I feel like the comedy in the first one was a lot better than in this. The comedy just didn't hit for me in this. And also Drax in the first movie is very different to the Drax in all the movies after that. He becomes a bit of a joker after that, especially in this one. So yeah, overall, it just didn't really do anything. And the villain was okay. And they set up this whole thing with Star-Lord and his powers, like just for this one movie. And then
they never use it. Really.
Yeah. So I say just a movie.
I think this movie was a total cop-out. Not good. You can't use comedy more than you use a fucking storyline. And this movie got so comedic that it started to piss me off. Like, I normally don't get pissed off at comedy, but I was like, there are crucial scenes in this movie where he's like fighting the main villain and he does something comedic and you're like, he turns himself into Pac-Man. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is this? That's so stupid. You can't do that in a pivotal scene. And they kept like doing it over and over again. You immediately knew there was something dodgy going on with his father. You introduced to the chick with the antennas. Isn't that, who refers to that?
Rocket?
Yeah, Rocket refers to her in like Endgame or something. Yeah. Mantis. Yeah. That's okay. Cool powers. You already knew Star-Lord, so in the first movie, you're like, this guy has some powers from somewhere. You don't know. Element of mystery. They totally get rid of that element of mystery. Not only do they do that, but they then destroy his ability to use that power ever again by the end of the movie. And you're just like, well, what was this whole journey for? On top of that, you would think that for a team that had already dealt with an Infinity Stone and goes through space, that their storyline, now that it's their second movie, wouldn't be self-containing, that it would branch out a bit more, be more interesting, but it wasn't. In fact, the only character development was Gamora and Nebula in this movie, which is totally fine to have, but like you can't just bail on everyone else in the movie. So that's very strong opinion. But
here we go.
Go ahead. Good luck, mate.
You guys aren't going to agree with me whatever I say, so it really doesn't matter what I say here. But I'll put my piece out because maybe there's someone out there that agrees
put your what
with
out?
Me. My piece.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to chuck that out now.
Why not?
After the podcast.
After the podcast.
Accompanying Sophie with the podcast.
Look, I don't think this movie's as good as, it's nowhere near as good as Guardians 1.
Good soundtrack there.
Yes. Excellent soundtrack. But I still think it's a good movie. But the core element of this movie, which none of you guys talked about, is not that Star-Lord has powers or not that Star-Lord's dad's a planet or whatever. It's actually about family. And this movie's about Star-Lord never feeling like he had a family and wanting to find his parents for the whole movie and his whole past for wanting to have a family. And at the end, realizing that his family was with him the whole time and that Michael Rooker was actually, what's his name?
Yondu
was actually his father figure. Even though he thought Yondu kidnapped him, he's actually the one that saved his life and was a father figure for him for the whole time. And then along with that, the parallel storyline is how Rocket and Star-Lord have they're fighting, and they're not sure why they're fighting, but it's because Rocket wants to be by himself, and then Star-Lord wants to separate as well. And they realize that in reality, they're both brothers and they want to be together because they're a family. And then paralleling that story, there's also Nebula and Gamora, who always hated each other. And Nebula always thought that Gamora was better liked by Thanos, so she had a certain aversion to him. But Gamora always wanted to be closer to Nebula as sisters, and she actually liked him, but Nebula never thought that. It was about how they were sisters and they could have been close this whole time, but they wasted it. It's this parallel with 3 different storylines, how they all had family close by and they thought they never had family. And by the end of this movie, they realized that the family was with them the whole time.
Yeah, like every fucking Christmas movie ever.
It's actually, it's a deeper movie than it presents
No, but I think it
as.
tries to be a deeper movie. I don't think it is a deeper movie.
But
It doesn't
could have been done
execute
better.
anything well.
All the things you just said could have been done better to engage the audience.
Yeah,
They were
I
there,
agree, which is why it's a good movie, but not a great movie and not a God movie.
For me, I felt it was a Star-Lord story. I didn't feel like it was a Guardians of the Galaxy story.
I agree.
But all those elements are in there that I just talked about.
Yeah, but like
That's
they
true,
but touching upon something like the conflict between Star-Lord and Rocket is far more, like there's some issues with Rocket that are actually really, really deep that they don't even talk about. Like being an animal that is experimented on by humans despite having a higher intelligence is like a whole field of its own. And which is where this like insecurity and this sense of being essentially PTSD and then using comedy and being an absolute asshole is what he uses to cover it up, right? They don't talk about it, even though they have the opportunity to talk about that stuff. If you're going into like, personal things about Rocket and stuff, that's what they go into. And so like, well, they could have gone into, but they just didn't touch it. I just felt like it was there for the picking. They just kind of like showed that it was there and then didn't do anything with it. Other Nebula and Gamora was like, all right.
The focus was primarily on Star-Lord.
But I think also like what you said, like his whole wanting to be in a family, but I got that, like you get that right at the start and I think like it doesn't go anywhere. Like
That was a good point though, like in the what you made before, and the fact that it was all about like family and that was what they're trying to convey. I think that was a good insight.
It's not about his powers or about ego specifically. It's more about the relationships between them. But you guys hate it anyway, so it doesn't matter what I said. Yeah, I wasn't going to sway you guys.
No, it matters. It matters.
Just not to us.
It's patronizing.
Just not to us.
You matter, man.
It's gonna be boring if everyone agrees for everything, right? It's gotta have some like gotta have on the side.
Tyrone Live matter.
What was the consensus? I said not. Just a movie.
I think I said just a movie.
Just a movie, right?
Just a movie.
movie.
What did you say? Good?
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, you were close. Close to the correct answer, but you were wrong.
I think my list is totally different to all your lists. Yeah.
Wait,
To
but,
be
like,
fair,
your
though,
list-
I think I've seen these movies more than any of you guys have seen these movies.
I've seen
Yeah.
Guardians 2 3 times now.
I've seen all of them at least 5 or 6 times.
How many times have you seen Endgame?
I watched it 3 times in the theaters with you guys
I watched it
initially.
6 times
and
in
then-
theatre.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen at least a
I
couple.
watched
Of,
Infinity
yeah.
War 5 times in the theater.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I watched it 3 times. I think.
I think 3 times in the theatre for me as well.
Yeah.
Infinity War. Anyways, we'll get to that.
All right, that was the first of 3 Marvel movies in 2017. So the second one to come out was Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, great movie. I think it was pretty good consensus on this one. I reckon they did it really well. They followed on really well from Civil War, I thought.
Let's not talk about consensus when we have Tyrone in the room. I don't know what he's thinking. I legitimately don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah, trash. No, I thought they followed on really well. I thought all the characters gelled really well. I thought they did the parallel with like how he manages like his power and being a high school kid really well. The villain was good. Nice twist at the end there. And yeah, I really enjoyed the fact that he has the suit that he gets and he's just like that whole thing at the start where he's trying to mess around with it and he like gets the instructions. I just thought that was done really, really well. So yeah, great for me.
Great for me as well. What you said about Ant-Man applies to me for this movie. So I thought it was really fresh. It was something different. It was the first time that we actually saw he's not high school age, but he at least looks high school age Spider-Man. And all the supporting cast, like all his friends, like Zendaya and the bully and his best friend and all that, they were all really good as well. So, no, it was just a really well done Spider-Man movie. And the villain was great. Michael Keaton as Vulture was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great. Yeah, I think Michael Keaton as Vulture is really good, especially because he's like directly linked with
Tony Stark.
Yeah, in the aftermath of is alien technology from the
Avengers, yeah.
So that was really good. As you said, good high school feels. It just felt better than the last Spider-Man movie we watched. And you had already been like teased because of Civil War, so it just ran home well. I'm not sure the way they do Aunt May is the best way, but it's like whatever. It's hard, hardly involved. Yeah, I was pretty happy. Good balance between him trying to like fit in school and also trying to protect his identity, and like between being cool and just being Spider-Man. So yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it's trash. No, I'm joking. I'm close to putting it in God tier, but I'm not sure.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like,
okay, interesting.
Maybe,
I
when I came out of it, I probably thought God tier, but thinking back to it, maybe it's more great. I think it's definitely the best Spider-Man movie we've ever had, or at least the best comic accurate Spider-Man movie we've ever had.
Yeah. No, I would say best Spider-Man.
And
Best
I think
Spider-Man
it's the
movie?
best I think it's the best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like Tom Holland is the quintessential
Best
Spider-Man.
Peter Parker Spider-Man or best Spider-Man movie?
Oh, no, it's not better than Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
Into the Spider-Verse,
gotcha.
I think is hands down the best.
Yeah, Spider-Verse is better.
Gotcha, yeah.
Best live action Spider-Man, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go great. I'll go great. But I agree with you, Spider-Verse is better. Yeah.
Holy shit. He said the same shit as us.
Yeah, I think I'll probably have to say high, great. I can't. I feel like I want to put it in God tier, but I can't think of a reason why not to put it in God tier. It just doesn't feel like a God tier for me. I think it's really good. I can't think of anything particularly wrong with it.
Wait, you just said you can't think of a reason not to put it in God.
No,
tier.
but I get what you mean. It doesn't feel like a God tier. That's the same thing.
When I think of like Winter Soldier, it had that like that X factor that, for me at least, and for the other unanimous God tier, which I forgot.
You forgot Civil War?
Civil War, that's the
How
one.
dare you?
Yeah, from that one. But
Let's
this
have a
one,
Civil
like,
War
I
here.
feel like it was a really all-round, like, really well-done movie. And in the first, like, 5 seconds when they had that OG Spider-Man theme and they brought it back, like, I was hooked as soon as I came in. And, I was just, it sort of just brings you back to that original Spider-Man, which I really loved.
Cool.
And also
Consensus.
they didn't like do the Uncle Ben
Backstory again for 100 times.
that was
great.
I'm so happy.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Very happy.
It's Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, third movie in 2017. Big year again for Marvel. Thor Ragnarok. I think it's God. It's just an amazing movie. It's hilarious. They did Thor like we've never seen him before. Hulk is also amazing in this. So it's basically like a concurrent Hulk and Thor story, really. And the team up was amazing as well. Hela, the villain, was also quite good. I just think it was just such a different Marvel movie at that time. Like, we never really got a Marvel movie like this, and I just really like it. So I'd have to put it in God.
I'm 100% putting this movie in God tier. I wouldn't be surprised if people
I feel
didn't
like this
agree.
is your favorite.
It's my favorite
Marvel movie.
No, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's my
But this
favorite
is-
like character movie.
This is the one that really got you into Thor. Is like you love Thor.
Well, no,
after this.
I already really liked Thor, and I was getting pissed off that my man Chris Hemsworth was getting fucked over in each movie.
Yeah.
The one where they dye his eyebrows and scream over, and then like I was totally taken aback by this movie. I thought it was gonna be shit. Like I was like, oh, whatever. Like it was a dark world. It was a piece of crap. I mean, the Avengers movie that we had was like, oh, whatever. Then obviously he didn't make an appearance in Civil War. You wouldn't expect him to. So I was like, oh, whatever. Yeah, very impressed. It's good that they just Taika Waititi is like a whole element of his own. His comedy is ridiculous and
And they
hilarious.
actually let him do his thing. Like,
Exactly.
they didn't make him make a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
He just did his own movie.
And Chris Hemsworth was brought back into being Thor because of this movie.
Yeah.
He was about to give up on
I was
it.
going to say that. How good this movie is that Chris Hemsworth didn't want to do Thor movies anymore.
Now he's back,
and there wasn't meant to be a Thor 4, but now he's doing it because
Yeah.
of how good this movie is. Yeah.
And like the visual theme in this movie is like, it's got this, it's got
Bright
like,
80s synth
yeah,
vibe.
yeah, exactly. It's like got this thematical element that's dope. They cut his hair. They make him, obviously there's interactions with Hulk. The whole planet is fucked.
Yeah.
The devil's asshole thing and all that shit going on.
And
You have,
the music as well, on that planet specifically.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
music, yeah.
and yeah, which is retro synth. It's
Yeah.
like, and what's that guy's? What's the
Korg.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum is the craziest motherfucker. He's like always smiling. And you know someone is fucking retarded or crazy if they're always
And
smiling.
he has that mode on his ship where it has like his birthday celebration or something on his ship at the end. Yeah.
He's like, but then he starts making a song.
Oh, yeah.
But I know, I love that we had a lot of Australian and New Zealand representation
Yeah.
because of Taika Waititi with like that
And they
lady.
keep their accents.
Yeah, they keep their accent.
Yeah.
It's always from people from his older movies. Like You know that the real angry lady she's a police officer in Hunt for the Wilder People, and it's like the same comedy. She's just this stupid bitch, and she's supposed to be a bitch to everyone that she talks to. It's great. And I mean, my favorite part is obviously the part where, you know, it's like, are you the god of hammers? And like the whole interaction with Hela then talks to his father. Loki is like properly becomes like more of a brother and they bond over it. It's great. It's great in all aspects. It was interesting that they kind of, when they introduce Hela, they kind of talk about her, kind of quickly go over the fact that she's really important, but it's fine.
I think visually it's amazing as well. There's that scene where he's got his thunder powers and you see like
when he comes from that's dope. And the Immigrant Song is like one of the best songs ever written, let alone by Led Zeppelin. So it's got awesome music as well. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more to say about that than that.
Would you put God tier?
Yeah, God, yeah.
I'm surprised.
Personally, I was going to put this as low great, just because I love Taika Waititi's direction with this movie. I just had a few issues. The main thing was I felt sometimes the comedy was too much in some scenes, and it didn't lend to the dramatic element that you needed in some parts. For example, at the very start, I felt that part where he's just swinging the chains just went on for like a minute or two too long, and that was a bit unnecessary. And towards the end, when all of Asgard is destroyed and like it's supposed to like let it settle, it's like a dramatic scene, and then Korg is like, oh nope, that's what destroyed it, and it's like a comedic scene. I felt like
that's true.
Unnecessary.
Actually, I agree with that scene.
I felt like I loved how they sort of tried to revamp Chris Hemsworth's Thor because it was getting stale, obviously. But at the same time, I felt like the Thor was becoming more Chris Hemsworth, and it didn't have that Thor the God being done new. It felt more like Chris Hemsworth, his comedy into Thor. It's a bit hard to explain, but it felt more like an Australian Chris Hemsworth than Thor the God, for me at least. Apart from that scene towards the end, which was like amazing on that bridge and like the coming down with thunder, that was done perfectly, I reckon. And yeah, there's definitely some really good scenes done to develop the character. All in all, I guess, yeah, right, like great.
There's a Doctor Strange cameo as well, which is pretty
good. Oh yeah, at the start.
Yes,
and he talks about him breaking up with Jane.
Yes, yeah.
No, what does he say? It was mutual or something? Someone was like, oh, sorry you break up. Yeah, it was mutual. Classic.
Yeah.
And Loki's still flying.
Yeah. And now he like gets his hammer and he's like, just like knocking everything over in Doctor Strange's house.
Yeah.
It's good.
I was actually going to say like high great, but like after everything, I can understand why you guys put it God, but I don't know why. I think I'm going to stick with my high grade. I think it's just, for me, the comedy was brilliant, but I feel like at some points it kept going on a bit too long. Hela as a villain, like I really liked Hela as a villain, but I felt like there were some moments where it just felt like, I don't know, something about that villain, like the way it was brought about or the way like her powers, like I'm not even sure what her powers actually are really. You know what I mean? So like just small things here and there, I just feel like to be a God tier, I need those things explained.
That's true.
Apart from that.
Yeah, I actually don't know. Spikes.
Yeah, like I got no idea what her like, what she's the god of or the goddess of. Because she mentions it in the movie, right?
I did love how they sort of tried to reveal the dark past of like Odin. It's like Odin's not a benevolent god by any means. Like you know, some like flaky shit. Like that was well done.
Oh, there's some amazing myths. Like like for me, it's like the highest of the greats.
And when he loses his eye, I thought that was such a good touch.
Yeah. And
in fact, I don't like it that they bring back his eye.
In Infinity War,
like,
His eye patch was sick. He was becoming Odin basically. Like,
exactly. I mean, I think that's what it is.
That was a point. Yeah,
that's good.
So goes in God then.
God,
I think it's God. Yeah,
nice.
unanimous.
I'm happy.
All right, 2018 first movie of it, Black Panther.
So, I think me and the rest of the world had like really high expectations. When I first watched this movie, I didn't like it as much as I wanted to like it, but I've rewatched it now twice, and I think it has some extremely important points when it comes to issues that the black community deals with culturally, let alone just in the world, and you know what the rape of Africa that happened right historically as well. But I think there's some, and therefore I think it's better than I originally thought. I think it's great. I think, what's his name? Killmonger is like a really good embodiment of black anger that is present throughout the world, but, you know, mainly in American culture because of past indiscretions by other communities towards them. And it also shows how, like, futile that is, right? As in, he's just angry and wants to, destroy fucking the rest of the world or whatever it is, wage war against people who have wronged black communities, and you realize that it's just, like, useless. And all it does is ultimately create
And he's
all this
also-
tension within his own community.
Yeah, and he's also against the whole Black Panther tradition, right? Because he burns all the plants and
Yes. Yeah. I thought there are some like absolutely amazing scenes in this movie. Like when T'Challa finally realizes that his father was wrong. Yeah. And when you realize that someone you respect so much is wrong is like a huge step.
And he confronts him too, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Not only him, but like all the ancestors as well that are there as well.
Exactly. And so like I thought that was an amazing scene. Although I did think they like kind of had him like, you know, in a coma and then back to life far too quickly.
Yeah, it's like drugged.
Yeah.
If you do ice, it doesn't come that fast.
I also thought you could have done, if you're going into the mystical side of the Black Panther, you could have done that even more like mystically. I think Bhaskar told me that like in the comics, like the Black Panther god is a bit different. I don't know anything about the comics, so I don't know if that's right. But yeah, I had a great time. I think great on having rewatched it, but I also don't think it's as good as people say it is. But it had an amazing soundtrack that unfortunately couldn't be fully utilized in the movie.
Yeah.
But that Kendrick Lamar album was amazing.
Yeah, I would agree. It's great. It's not, when it first came out, people probably thought it was God tier, but it's not that good.
You got nominated. You got nominated for an Oscar.
It did. Yeah. It's definitely not that good. The end CGI fight's a bit not great.
Yeah.
But everything else about the movie's pretty good. I would put it in great. Not much else to say.
I would put it as high good for me. I definitely understand the cultural impact it had. I completely agree with that. But again, I feel like it was a bit overhyped for me when I watched it. Expectations didn't rise my expectations. I felt, yes, some of those, I think a few plot holes, Inconsistencies is more accurate.
Which ones?
I think it wasn't even a major one, I think. It was just towards the end when he gets saved by the vegetarian tribe, but like for some reason they're fishing. Some reason it was like, very small details, right? It wasn't really too important. But I think there was also one where they just killed off Ulysses Claw's character when at the airport when Killmonger just shoots him. I felt like he's an interesting character, but maybe his usefulness ran out as a character. Apart from that, yeah, I feel like the best scenes was definitely in the ancestral plane scene where he finally realizes that the whole tradition is sort of incorrect and that he needs to share the wealth of Wakanda with the world. And yeah, so I think for me it's going to be kept at high good.
Yeah, I think it's I think same points that Kireeti and Taran mentioned. I understand why you put it as a good. But on rewatch, I don't know. Like, I just think it's a great movie. It's really well done. But a low grade for me. I think the end fight scene and some of that CGI was just a bit too jittery. And yeah, there are a few things I didn't understand with regards to that plant that he eats that gives him those superhuman abilities. I was sort of unsure as to how that translates to him versing Killmonger the first time. Because like, I remember when Killmonger like opens his lips the first time, he's got that blue thing. So I think the first time I watched it, I was confused as to whether he had already had that plant in him or whether he didn't, or if it's just all Wakandians have that blue lip thing.
Yeah, the blue thing's like a Wakandian passport.
Yeah, it is, right?
To get into the force field, right?
To get into the country.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because like I remember the first time I watched it, I was like really confused as to what's actually going on. On rewatch, I guess it makes sense. But
yeah, I agree with the plant thing. I feel like having the plant give you the power makes the power too like fleeting.
Yeah.
Meaning if it's just that rather than it being more of like you're assuming, or assuming the role of the Black Panther. Yeah. But I don't know.
So for me, it's a low grade still because I still love, like you said, the soundtrack was incredible. The ending, the implications is for me the best part. Like the fact that he starts to like open it up, and the way that they kept Wakanda hidden. I guess they don't explain it, and the fact that Shuri's the one that designs everything. Like she's just a teenager. Like what were they doing before Shuri? That's what kind of got me a bit. Because like the whole rail system, everything, all the tech designs of everything, it's all Shuri. So I was like, man, so this has only been like that for 16 years. What about before that?
Running on steam engines in the jungle.
But apart from that, no, I still think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably a low grade for me as well. When I initially watched it, I thought it was just good, but on rewatch, there are some great things about it. I like the whole African nativity about it. Like it just felt like a very different movie. Something that I hadn't sort of experienced before. So I thought
heavily inspired by like African cultures and like I think not just one specific area. They kind of borrow and
the tribes. They get different tribes. Yeah,
everything.
So I thought all that was really good. So I agree with all the other stuff they've said, but I'd put in great.
Cool. So
I think it's great, right? Because I get
what
it
did you
good,
say?
high good, but everything else give it great.
You can say it.
Infinity War. Yeah, it's this is God tier. This is my favorite movie in the MCU. I think it's the best movie in the MCU. It's got so many great moments. all the action scenes are top tier. And there's probably like 3 moments in this that are like the top 3 moments in the whole of the MCU as well. So
there is one moment where I am so happy because this movie.
Yeah, when Thor comes into Wakanda, that moment is awesome. When Captain America saves Vision and Scarlet Witch, that moment's
the
absolutely
entry,
yeah.
And he's a badass because he has different hair. He's got a beard now.
Yeah.
Different costume.
And then there's the moment when Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Iron Man fight Thanos' children when they first come to Earth, and like Iron Man's like Earth's closed, and he does that whole fight.
Spider-Man turns up.
Yeah.
I especially like the Telugu version of that.
Yeah, look, best movie in the MCU, God tier.
Yeah, I have to agree. God, yeah, I can't really find any major faults with this movie, and everything was done really well. There's so many characters like to manage, and even the poster was just like clustered with characters.
And not to mention that this ending is after Empire Strikes Back. This is the best ending in a movie that's ever happened. Yeah,
I definitely agree. I think a lot of people sort of didn't like it because they could tell that they were going to come back anyway. But I feel like they still conveyed, even though that was like going to happen, they still conveyed the tragedy of what had happened really well. And the stakes were there this time. You know that, okay, they're not just effing around. They're not just like holding the characters back or whatever. They're actually going to, people can die in this movie. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed everything they had to offer in this movie.
Agreed. For me, it's the highest God tier. I think it's my favorite in the MCU as well. For me, it was just the way they bring everyone in at the start into this, problem. And they do it quick. There's no like delay, right? Like Spider-Man sees something going down. He's like, oh, I gotta go. And he just goes, and it's quick, right? The fact that it leads directly on from, I can't remember which one. Is it Guardians 2 that it leads on from? With Thor's ship being discovered. No, it's from Ragnarok. Yeah, it leads directly on from that, right? And you don't see the fight. And what got me was the fact that Thanos beat Hulk without the Power Stone, without using it. Like,
finally, someone says it. Thanos.
Yeah, the fact that Thanos, it's Thanos' movie, right?
Yeah.
But
I shat myself. Like, I was like, oh, fuck, okay. I totally agree.
And he beats it easily.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Very easily.
For me, that was like, shit, man. Like, he's beaten the strongest guy on the team. What are they going to do?
He says, oh, let him have his fun. And I was like, oh, God.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Now,
I was like, my goodness. That just took it down for me because I was like, man, he's beaten the strongest guy on their team in the first, 2 minutes of this movie. That's what set me up.
He fucking kills Loki then and there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it kills Loki.
That was a brutal scene.
And then it's like, his neck. Oh, shit, we're on. Like,
yeah. It's brilliant. The way they bring everyone in, the way that it progresses, the way they split them up again. And again, all the entry scenes. Like, Captain America's entry scene is brilliant. The music is great. The music's a big thing for me in this movie as well. They use
they use it to highlight it at the right moment, and it just gets you like your skin tingles. And yeah.
And also, I really liked the way they show the cities. Like, that font they use when they show where characters are. I really liked the way they did that.
They did that in Civil War first.
Yeah, Civil War, it's like the big writing over the whole screen, and this, it's in like the bottom.
Like the Guardians.
Yeah. For me, that's what I like the most because it's just
the font.
It's a nice way to watch the progression. It's just very satisfying.
Obviously, God tier. I guess what hasn't been mentioned, it's Thanos' movie. So Thanos is absolutely amazing in this. All the entry scenes are amazing. The way, just the character groupings as well. So the way they've grouped the characters, you have like Iron Man, Doctor Strange together. So the two big egos together. The fight scene between Doctor Strange and Thanos on Titan, right?
Yeah. That whole fight scene's actually amazing. Yeah.
And you actually see Doctor Strange's powers in this movie. Like the way.
And it continues on to like that scene where he has like they nearly get the bloody gauntlet off him.
Yeah. And then Star-Lord loses his shit.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, I can see this coming, and you don't want it. Yeah. That whole scene is ridiculous. That scene's fucked. Doesn't he bring a moon down? He brings like a bloody
moon.
He uses all the stones. You see him use every stone
use every
in
one.
its
and
entirety.
each one lights up. Yeah,
it's sick. Like they don't leave anything out.
And then at the very end, when they're trying to stop him to get to Vision, and he's just taking them out one by one, and like not even trying, basically.
Yeah.
And Captain America like tries to punch him, and then he just puts one hand out. It's
all in slow motion. And then Wanda breaks Vision, right? Destroys him, and then he just uses the time stone. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
How did I think of that?
That was heartbreaking when
it's like, all that. And he just reverses and takes it. Like, oh my
and he
God.
kills him again.
Yeah. and he's like grey. He's like greyed out when he's done. It's like, holy fuck.
Lifeless.
Two scenes that haven't been mentioned. Obviously, Thor's entry scene, Wakanda, that's one of the greatest scenes in superhero movies ever. There's one other scene in Wakanda where you see Black Panther and
Captain America running. Yeah.
Towards, and you see them like running
Dude,
past everyone.
it's when they opened the gate, and then he goes Wakanda forever, and they all run, and then it's Captain America and Black Panther just absolutely outstripping everyone.
Tearing
And
down.
the other scene, which I really like, is so Thanos is just wasted Hulk at the start of the movie. He's pretty much beaten everyone, right? And then right at the end, you see Captain America holding back his hand, and Thanos just gives him a look. He's like, "What's going on? What's this guy doing?"
But I think he just underestimated him. It's not like he overpowered him, or he just
It's not like that Thor hammer moment.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like, I thought this guy would be easy, but he's
Yeah.
I also think the scene with Gamora's death was done well as well.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking as well.
Yeah.
It's everything, isn't it? It's the whole package.
100% best movie MCU.
Yep. The cliffhanger. The best cliffhanger of any movie.
They have a sick female lead fight with that's in this movie, isn't it?
That's Endgame.
No, there's one in this one as well.
Yeah.
It's with Scarlet Witch.
It's with Scarlet Witch and
Black Widow.
and with
General
Okoye.
Okoye,
yeah, and like when Scarlet Witch rocks up, she's like, "Where has she been all this time, man?"
It's like, why hasn't she been over here?
So there's so many elements in this movie that are
She
amazing.
says, what was she doing up there?
What was she doing up there?
Oh, and Thanos' children. Like, those guys are strong. Like,
Are they his kids or are they just his soldiers?
it's like his adopted kids.
Yeah.
Adopted
Like
kids.
Gamora and Nebula as well.
Yeah. They're all brothers and sisters, technically.
And like, they don't leave them out either. They've got like they've just got their own fight scenes.
They're
which is
bloody
good as
strong.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they managed to fit them into this movie with so many other characters.
I think that's the thing about this movie is they balance things as well as they could have. You obviously don't get Hulk, but you get him in the fucking suit. Yeah, you have Thor doing his thing. I still reckon they should have left his eye out. Yeah, you have
Hulk though. Like, after that first scene, you don't get him back. Only the Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that kind of bummed me out. Because in the trailers, it's Hulk. You know that scene when they're running down?
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
Yeah,
don't
they do it on
they?
purpose. Yeah.
Bastards.
And you never really get Hulk again. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
in Endgame is not Hulk.
It's like this
He's
fusion.
Dr.
Yeah.
He's
Banner.
bulk.
Dr. Hulk. Yeah.
He's bulk.
And I think that Thanos isn't just good because he's strong, but he's like, they just show that he's like this force that just believes in cutting out half the population, right? That's it.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter to him. Obviously, if you try and stop him, he will do his best to get rid of you, either disable you or destroy you, whatever it is. But he's just after taking out half the population, doesn't care how it's done. And then the relationship between Gamora and him and like the Soul Stone, like that's just done so well. And the fact that they end with him and Gamora is like, what did it cost and all that stuff. It's like, nailed it. Bang.
Spot. Yeah.
And that's it.
This one is,
All right.
I don't want to do this one.
So after Infinity War, we got, just a couple of months later, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp in the same year.
Oh, no, it's not this one. Sorry.
Oh, you
It's the
missed it.
next
You
one.
got it
I
wrong.
got it wrong. Yeah, I got it wrong.
You got to do a
Sorry.
shot.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let me think. I would say just a movie for me. Because, I think when I was comparing to the first Ant-Man, the comedy didn't feel as good. I felt like the characters were a bit toned down. The story wasn't too engaging. I guess the end sort of made it interesting in terms of the whole quantum realm kind of stuff. But, I don't know. Just a movie for me.
Interesting. I actually thought it was good. Not great, but I thought it was good. I thought they dealt with the whole implications of him being involved in that war on the airport and Civil War was talked about. The fact that, there's actually retribution for those actions. And it wasn't on him either. It was on Hank and his daughter. I thought it was sick. Story-wise, look, it's alright. The villain was okay, not amazing. But overall, I felt it was good. Not great, but just a bit better than just a movie.
For me, it's just a movie. There's, again, same feeling as what I had for Ant-Man 1. It's a fun adventure, but nothing really happens. It sort of leads into Endgame, obviously, but I don't think it was... There really isn't that much else in this movie.
Just a movie for me. I don't know. Low good, just a movie. Same thing. I sometimes get annoyed when you have such a big movie like Infinity War, and then you have another movie in the same universe, and like it's like before it doesn't. It's
before
not.
the
Yeah, it's
events,
like before, and it only deals with the implications of it at the end, and you're like, look, I just want someone to address what's happened in another movie. But the quantum realm stuff was cool, and I think they they did right at the end. You're like, he's got to be somehow involved with whatever process is involved to rectify. in Endgame, but I was just like, ugh, whatever. That chick that's the bad person who's like
phasing in and
Ghost
out.
or
Ghost.
yeah.
Ghost.
I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no.
Like, what is this shit? What does Lawrence Fishburne, he is a good guy in this movie.
He's a giant man, isn't he? Oh no, he's Goliath.
Wait, what? Did you just wreck something?
No, he's Goliath.
So I think he worked with Hank Pym on the previous model and made his own
He's
version
he's
of it.
like he just turns big. He's actually the original Civil War arc, and he gets killed. Yeah,
Does it show, like, they don't talk about that in this?
they do talk about him. He said he gets big. Remember, he's like, I got up to
sizes.
15 feet or whatever. I don't know how many feet.
okay.
The guy's
Make a
like,
dick
yeah.
joke there as well, I think.
Yeah, that's it. I think this movie does too much comedy, actually. And that's really rare for me to say because I normally love comedy. But I think it relies a bit too much on it.
I didn't think it was that funny though.
Yeah, that's why. It does too much and it's not actually as funny as it could have been. So just a movie, yeah.
So what? I think it is just a movie, isn't it?
Just a movie.
All right, this is the one I don't want to do.
All right, we come to 2019. Just before Endgame, we got a movie called Captain Marvel. Let's see first.
Yeah, that's trash.
Yes.
Fucking trash. Look, I'll explain why. Look, even before Brie Larson was cast, everyone was like, she's not the right person to be Captain Marvel. And I was worried that they were right. And I was pissed that they were right. And I'm pissed that I was right because I do not like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I just think that there's no
Why are you
emotion
pissed?
in her character. Like, that she doesn't know how to display emotion. And the story of
In
Captain...
this movie.
In this movie, yes. And also in Endgame, I suppose, a bit. A little bit in Endgame.
Have you seen Room?
I've seen Room. She's a good actress. Don't get me, she's a great actress. But for someone like, for a superhero, right, it requires certain qualities, and I just don't think she has those. The movie itself, look, I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it. Like, I was watching it, I saw it on rewatch again. I saw it twice on rewatch because I was trying to find something to like about the movie because I really wanted to like it, but I couldn't find anything that I enjoyed. Jude Law's character, he's a great actor. Character, I just didn't enjoy it though. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for me, it's just a movie. So basically, I think the character of Captain Marvel is a little bit mundane, like you said. There's not that much anything interesting about her, to be honest. But the overall story in the 90s feel that they gave to it as well, because she comes back in the 90s timeline, and the de-aging of Samuel L. Jackson was amazing in this movie. It's not, you can't put it in trash. Well, I can't put it in trash because trash is like a complete train wreck. And this is not a bad movie. It's competently made. It's just not very interesting. It's just overall a little bit dull. So I just say it's just a movie.
It'd be so good to put it in trash, but I'll say it's not good. I say it's relatively trash because of how much people jack off to this fuckery of a movie, right? There's so many things that were done just like so poorly in this movie. I don't think Brie Larson was cast poorly. I think they accepted just really shit acting from her. Like, her like intonation.
I don't know if it was her acting. I think it was just the script, like the way they designed a character.
No, but like even like her dialogue delivery was fucking shit. I thought like they just accepted it for what it was. At no point in time did they like even show that she was like she was never humble with her powers. I felt that she was like, oh, I got these powers. I'm a sick cunt. Look at me. That's all she did. And then there was like they had like this weird friendship going on between her and her best friend. Yet there was absolutely no emotion showed whatsoever. Brie Larson couldn't fight. Her action scenes were shit. She couldn't run like in an athletic way either. She was like pushing some Kajal Agarwal type of running in this movie. Shout out to my favorite movie ever, Darling. And I thought what was that scene with the Samuel L. Jackson's character? Nick Fury was bloody explained his eye patch in the worst way. He got cut like it was a cat, right? Like you shouldn't have explained it or choose something amazing. And like the fact that the only like maybe characters you actually cared about were like these pseudo villain, what are they called?
Kree.
Skrulls. And yeah, like Jude Law, you could always tell Jude Law was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Bro, he looked evil as soon as he was introduced. I was like, whatever, man. Like, yeah. It's just like so nothing that I thought it was poor.
I thought Ben Mendelsohn's Skrull was pretty good though.
Yeah. So he was probably the only good thing about the movie. They didn't choose an amazing timeline. The 90s is not an amazing timeline when you're in the 2010s. Fucking, yeah. Oh, video easy blockbuster. No one gives a fuck. Like, no one actually cares. It was cool. It's very recent though. There's no like wardrobe. No, wardrobe. The wardrobe doesn't drastically change. Like, there's nothing there. I was like, oh, whatever, man. Cool, but suck my ass.
I actually thought you would be more negative about it, to be honest. I
can't put it in trash because
Well,
it's not like they've done terrible sins in the movie. It's just
we did a DC tier list, right?
Yeah.
And in trash we had Suicide Squad and Justice League.
yeah.
You can't say it's equivalent to those movies. It's better than those movies.
Do we put something else in trash?
We were going to put Batman v Superman, but we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
It's definitely better than those movies.
It's because it doesn't. It's like it's like the most passive. It's like passively really shit, but it doesn't actively do anything bad. You know, like it doesn't actively make a terrible sin like those movies do. They definitely they make their whole theme about being pieces of shit. Like
I think those DC. Are you done?
Yeah.
I think those DC movies are more of a. They try to do something and they're a hit and a miss. But like you said, this tried to
play it safe.
This tried to play it safe, which, look, to be honest, I don't think this is any worse than any of the other mundane origin movies that happened in the MCU. All the origin ones, they're kind of the same. I thought Brie Larson wasn't great in this movie. I agree, but I think she'll be a good Captain Marvel eventually, with a better writer and a better direction. But I think in this movie she wasn't great. It's just
Do you
one of
think
the.
she was good in Endgame?
She doesn't have much to do in Endgame. She's hardly in it.
I think the time she had in Endgame was just shit as well. I mean,
She doesn't have enough. She doesn't have enough time in Endgame to.
But even when she talks in Endgame, or like the intro bit, it's like, oh man,
Mate, she has like 2 dialogues in Endgame.
I know, and she fucks them up.
No, you can't base it off that. I think she'll be a good Captain Marvel eventually. You got to keep an open mind. Give her a shot.
Yeah.
Like don't
We
throw her out.
we know she's a good actor, right?
Yeah, don't throw her out before. Give her a shot.
But I feel like you really need to, like, if she's going to be good, someone's going to have to tell her that her version of Captain Marvel is shit and her way of thinking about the character is shit.
Well, they got a new director and writers for the second
I don't think it's her fault that this movie's not great.
Yeah, maybe.
But saying that,
I'm not saying it's her fault.
Yeah.
Look,
Saying
Thor
she was
in the
shit.
first Thor, Chris Hemsworth is not that great as Thor. It's the same as this. In this, she's not that great as Captain Marvel. She'll grow into the role in consecutive movies.
I thought Thor
in
was-
the first Captain America, he's good, but he's not great. He's not actual what you see towards
Not
the end
great.
of Endgame.
Yeah, okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So give her time to grow into the role. I think she'll be okay. But coming back to this movie, like it's just one of those MCU origin movies where the stuff happens. Like it's nothing special.
Yeah.
They played it very safe. It's just a movie.
Powers are ridiculous, though.
What are her powers though? Like, how does she get her powers? Like,
Yeah,
can anyone explain how she gets it?
What?
She gets it from the Tesseract.
What? So it blows up and you get powers?
She's basically embodied some of the power of the Tesseract.
But
Which
like the
is-
way they do it, though.
She's some of the
But
Tesseract.
the Tesseract is a space stone.
Yes.
So what does a space stone do?
It's
You
not
manipulate space.
specifically the power of the stone, but it's the power the stone possesses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because all the stones can like shoot beams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But with like the Mind Stone, there's more of like a because what at least there's a hint in Ultron that Scarlet Witch, she used the Mind Stone to show people these fucked up dreams, which is very Mind Stone like, right? I don't know if the Time Stone obviously does Time Stone. The Time Stone doesn't shoot beams, right? Well, you don't know.
It doesn't. But the Mind Stone just shoots beams as well, to be honest. Yeah.
But they're thinking beams.
So
That makes
yeah,
you think. So just
Yeah.
a movie, all right.
just a movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think you guys are justified in saying that she'll be a shit Captain Marvel going forward as well. I think you got to give her a shot.
No, I think if she continues doing what she's doing at the moment, it'll be shit.
Yeah, well, with the change of direction and
So I'm not saying that she's gonna be shit moving forward as well. I'm just saying that in this movie,
but you guys will go into the next movie with an open mind.
yeah, definitely. I mean, like firstly, we don't have a choice, but
I
also,
have fucking low expectations.
Yeah.
The most open mind ever. I'm like, whatever.
yeah,
And I think her character will come out because in this one she's sort of by herself and kind of it's like enclosed in her own thing, right? In the second one they're planning it slightly
They'll have
different.
Miss Marvel and
Miss
stuff.
Marvel.
It'll
So
be
she'll
good.
have characters to play
Yeah.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, this would have to be bordering not good or just a movie. The thing that things that pushed into just a movie was kind of enjoy the fact that Ben Mendelsohn wasn't just another villain. I guess towards the end, they sort of turned it around where they sort of showed two sides of the story, where like on the other hand, the Skrulls are doing this because they need their species to survive. They have children, they have families that need to survive. And I thought was interesting take. And again, I like the potential for Captain Marvel to be one of the most overpowered characters because like because her powers weren't really well explained in this movie. I feel like they just came across like mundane, like just blasting stuff out of the sky and basically it. But I believe in comic books her powers like branch out to a lot more than just that.
What is the law?
In the comic books, she gets a blood transfusion from the initial Captain Marvel.
So there's a Kree called Marvel.
Yeah.
He's the one with all the powers, basically. And then
The originally Captain Marvel was a
Kind of like
dude,
Green Lantern.
yeah.
and then they retconned it to being a woman.
That's fine, but how did the original get the powers?
The original's a
He's an
Kree,
alien.
He's an alien.
Kree.
So it's just a species powers.
and I think he also gets it through an explosion.
So similar to this, I think.
Yeah, he gets it through an explosion,
Right.
not through the Tesseract. Yeah.
I know what happens. So afterwards, like ages after, like after Carol Danvers becomes Captain Marvel, she also becomes binary, which is like half the powers that we see in Endgame, where she's like able to fly through space and like has that aura around her. She's super strong. She gets that through what's called a white hole. I'm not sure don't know what it is, but it's kind of like a black hole. She becomes binary and she becomes a super powerful, like one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And they sort of took some of those powers for this and they sort of used it with this explosion of the Tesseract. So what I don't understand is, like you said, the Space Stone, we know what the Space Stone does, but how does that give her the powers of what she has, like super flight, like
I think it's just she's like I said, she's just embodied with some of the power of the
similar
Space
to
Stone.
how does the Mind Stone give Scarlet Witch her powers? Because she does other stuff apart from
Yeah, she can
Yeah, but
fly,
at
she
least there's some sort of link, don't you think? And at least when they introduced her, that was her initial power, was that, like, creating these mental images and worries for people. I do understand.
I feel like it's just a like,
But it gets-
it's
so for me,
it's
I think it
nitpicking a little bit, isn't it? Though
it is.
No,
Yeah.
well, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an Infinity Stone. You don't just fuck
if you're
around
gonna
with an
nitpick,
Infinity
if
Stone.
you're gonna nitpick that, then you got to nitpick Scarlet Witch's powers as well.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think we should.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should, yeah.
Yeah, I think they
But
should
she's a
have done.
mutant though, right? Like, we're not
Well,
nitpicking her mutant powers.
No,
It's,
what do you mean mutant? Is she a mutant? Not according to the cinema
Not
law.
according to the MCU, she
Yeah,
isn't.
she
is, yeah.
Which they might retcon, but yeah.
but Quicksilver is a mutant though.
Nah, he got his powers through the mind. Well,
No,
you
they
should
don't
nitpick
MCU.
his powers as
Yeah,
well. Then.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that wasn't well done either.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that part, I don't agree with then. If that's the case, then I definitely scrutinize that. So for me, the reason I'm saying it's trash is because, so this is like so far into the MCU, the fans have had so much time to get used to this universe. So I feel like the director and the story, they didn't need to do any of that setup where we need to explain what Infinity Stones are, what the universe is like at the moment and stuff. But for some reason, they went to this origin story where they sort of explained it anyway. And for me, like, this wasn't like Iron Man 1 or Captain America 1 or Thor 1 where they had to explain stuff or they had to set up things. They could have gone straight into a universe that we already know and then have the origin movie set up for Captain Marvel. But they didn't. And for me, that was like a big waste. Not waste. They just didn't utilize what they could have, what the resources they had available to them.
For me, that's the same with Doctor Strange. Like, they had a universe that they set up, but they had to go back into the origin story and explain everything and how he got his powers.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange was good in the sense that the characters, the characters fit better, right? They work better together. And the story was more, like, you can understand how he gets his powers. Like, he works towards it. And
I feel like this movie and Doctor Strange are quite similar.
No, you're talking shit. No, now you're talking real shit. No.
I think a lot of the MCU origin movies are quite similar
So
in how they're
start
based
this,
off.
How they start this movie is they have this chick with Jude Law, and Jude Law tells her not to come in, and she already knows how to control these undefined powers. That's the problem. Like, when you start off with this person who already knows how to control these powers, right? She just starts blasting everything, and then she wants to find out
that's
who
like
she
Thor.
is. Huh?
Okay, no.
No, it's not.
Here's the issue.
Thor didn't start off trying to.
The
Thor
development.
already has his powers to begin with.
No, but let me listen. But she's going back to find out who she is, as if it's a matter of importance, but she's already in control of her powers, and then all she does is upgrade these ridiculous powers to something even more ridiculous. Whereas in Thor is supposed to be, at least concept-wise, he loses his powers, but he gains his powers when he actually figures out how to be less reckless with something he
to
was
be
born
worthy
with.
of holding the helmet.
Exactly, right? And it comes down to, trying to be a normal person and empathize with people who don't have powers like him. But there's nothing even close to that when it comes to Captain Marvel.
That's not the point as well. The actual development from start to finish of Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers isn't actually a different person from start to finish. It's pretty much the same person. Only difference is she now knows what happened in the plane crash, and that's not enough of a development. And like,
I would say the same thing for Doctor Strange, though. He's pretty much the same person.
Yeah,
the thing
I
is,
agree.
Yeah.
But it's so much more interesting, though, what he discovers, right? He changes from like a surgeon to someone who believes in science and doesn't believe in any of this mystical crap to going into this totally just switches, right?
Doctor Strange. The difference is though, right? He can use his magic to cure his hands and become a surgeon again if he wants to. The same way that guy managed to cure his back, but he chooses not to. Right, that's the character development that you see that you don't see with Captain Marvel.
and
There's
also,
none of that, right?
And also, at the very start, we can clearly tell that this guy is a self-obsessed genius, billionaire, whatever,
Narcissist, yeah.
million narcissist. Towards the end, he's willing to sacrifice himself for all eternity, again and again, die in multiple different ways, as long as Earth is kept safe. That's literally what he says. And that development might not be what everyone wants, might not be what everyone likes, but at least it's a clear-cut development from Captain Marvel, where it's literally the same person, start to finish. Whereas Doctor Strange has at least a bit of a development in terms of his character.
Captain Marvel has no personality quirks. Like, Doctor
Yeah.
Strange does. He has, like, that bit of arrogance and, like, that little edge to him. She has
Tries to
nothing.
shortcut
She's
something,
like, what happens when she finds out? She finds out, like, and one best friend finds her best friend alive, doesn't react. She sees her best friend the first time, realizes it's her best friend, doesn't react. There's some kid walking around. What the fuck's this? It's so nothing. That's what I'm saying.
I think me and Shravin are probably similar opinions on
Yeah.
this.
opinion on
But tell me why, because you're wrong.
No, I agree that she's a my character, but
But at least have like, if you're gonna make it like numb and not change things, at least make them like humble. You know, like you root for a character that's humble, that discovers, or sometimes their power comes out in strange ways, and then therefore they try and find out what happened. Or if they have like weird, I guess she does have visions in this, but like you need to understand why she wants to go find out who she is, or like why you want to find out about your power. Not just have the power there to begin with and then just be like, oh, I want to find out what this back.
She's just told to not use her power at the very start, because otherwise she'll beat Jude Law too quickly in that one martial arts scene. It says, oh no, you can't use her power. Be careful. Control your emotions.
Yeah, bruh, I
But,
don't
like,
understand what was happening.
She just, like, that served no purpose of the entire movie. That was it. There was no self-control. There was no need for self-control. She doesn't, like, there was no, like, incident, whatever.
I still think, so rating-wise, I think we're stuck on not good.
yeah. Well, all that being
just
said,
What did you guys say?
not,
Just a
just
movie.
Just a movie.
Just a movie?
Yeah.
Like trash, not good.
Not
and
good, not
not
good.
good.
Not good.
Not good
Not
then.
good.
In my opinion, it's no worse than any of the other origin movies, but
I think it is worth in that it's more boring. At least, like, these guys aren't even trying this movie. That's a sin in itself.
But it's still
I understand
like,
what you're saying, but for me,
look,
even if it's the exact same as every other
Yeah.
origin movie, for me, because it comes
what's a
so
trash
late.
movie for you? So you're saying this is a trash movie. So what are other trash
Yeah.
movies?
Like other trash movies.
Yeah.
Like for me, this is like, it's still high trash. But like when I say high trash,
High
like,
trash.
what's another high trash movie for me?
Like Marvel?
No, just
Or
any
in
movie.
general.
What's
Any
a trash
movie?
BVS.
I'm trying to think of something that's, BVS. BVS is lower than this though. Like BVS is like mid trash for me.
Ooh,
like
nice.
Yeah. Like, cause
We were
there's a
very
lot-
tempted to put it in trash.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that I didn't like. I'm trying to think of something that was like high trash.
Transformers.
Man of Steel for me was high trash.
Which Transformers?
Man of Steel
What
was
was the first
trash.
one?
High trash.
First
yeah.
What?
Well,
I didn't like Man of Steel.
second Transformers is trash, I reckon. Second onwards, all of them
They're
are
all
trash.
trash, Brad.
No,
the first one was good.
First one was
amazing.
Right, shut up!
They're all trash.
No, the first one's just a movie. Just a movie,
What?
the first,
First
one.
one's good for
First
me.
one's great for me.
Yeah, first one's good.
Whoa,
But
wait,
second onwards, they're all trash.
Wait.
Second onwards, they're all trash.
We should stick to
Megan
MCU.
Fox?
Was Man of Steel trash for you guys?
Nah.
Man of
I
Steel
think it
was a good, I think.
Low good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, for me it was like high trash, low good.
Oh, Man of Steel.
Like, not bad. Like, sorry, not good, high trash for me. Yeah.
Oh, what I'll say, coming back to Captain Marvel, this movie gets a lot of hate because people just don't like a woman being powerful as well. I know that's not the reason you guys hate it, but there is people out there that purely
That is
hate
true.
this.
That is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's
But
for women
also,
being powerful.
people also will continuously say, oh, that's a bullshit opinion because you don't like women, even though people legitimately say reasons as to why this movie is shit.
Yeah, but
And that
no,
happens more.
I'm okay with you guys not liking it because of your reasons, but the people that don't like this because it's a woman, it's a
not,
woman.
but it's not that many. Like,
Nah, there's a
there's
considerable
quite-
amount.
There's
there-
quite a
There's
few
a
people
considerable
that
amount.
don't like this movie because they don't like Brie Larson.
but
Yeah.
Pretty
okay,
much.
sure.
This movie
okay,
got downrated on Rotten Tomatoes before anyone had seen the movie. Before anyone had seen the movie, they already trashed it.
sure.
And I think that's I think
But-
that's nonsense because
But how many people? But how many? Like, if you talk to people about this movie and people who don't like it, they don't say it's because of Brie Larson or they.
Well,
they
some
don't-
people do.
Really?
Yeah. Some people
I
say
don't-
they don't like Brie Larson, and that's why they don't like this movie.
Well, they don't like how she acted.
No, they just don't like it.
Okay, so they don't like women.
Yeah.
Is that what they're
Basically,
saying?
yeah.
Okay. Well, right. But I think people assume that a lot of the negative comments to this is because of sexism. I think that's another issue. Is that if you just suddenly start criticizing something, then you start attributing
No,
that
if
to
you have,
sexism.
if you have legitimate reasons for not liking it, that's
Yeah.
fair enough. But
No,
there is
because even before the movie started, I wanted like Catherine Winnick, I wanted like Emily Blunt, like these characters that that can do action in a really strong way,
Yeah,
and really strong like women personas.
why do
but
they choose Brie Larson?
I think Brie Larson's a good choice. I think she'll surprise you guys in the next one.
but like if she's a good choice, she would have been good in the origin movie
Exactly.
and in Endgame, right?
But
she's
I'll go back to Chris Hemsworth in Thor.
did totally fine in Thor.
Hemsworth was
He was
perfect as Thor.
convincing.
Yeah.
He was
It was
convincing
fine.
as a Thor.
I feel like she's convincing enough in this that
What do you
she
mean?
can do
She's
a good-
convincing like an
can do a
inanimate
good-
object, which she is in this
She,
movie.
we know she can act, and I know she can do the physical stuff as well.
She has potential, it just wasn't used correctly.
She wasn't used properly.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Let her grow into
for
the
me,
character.
I think
Yeah.
she's a great actress, but she's not the right person for Captain Marvel for me.
Okay.
I don't know if she's not the right person or wrong person. I just think she just did a bang average. No, she did worse than average job at this movie. And I think we're taking away too much blame from the actual actor. Like, yes, the director can only say so much, but the actor shares some responsibility for how they portray a character as well.
Yeah.
And it was just like nothing. It was yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're sticking with just the movie.
No,
Or was it not good?
Not good.
Not good?
Not good.
Not good. What
right,
else is in not good?
Just
Dark
Thor
World.
Dark World.
I like Thor Dark World way more than.
All right. We're almost in the Endgame, so we're in Avengers Endgame now.
That's fun.
I can go.
Yeah,
it's
you,
God.
It's you.
I mean, no questions asked. It's God, right?
Yeah.
It's the finale to the whole Infinity Saga. They did it as basically as well as they could have done it, really, considering all the stuff they had to juggle. So it's God.
Yeah, 100%. God tier. Definitely God tier. I don't think it's as good as Infinity War. I don't know where to put it. I actually see it like, honestly, I see it as like just a continuation of Infinity War rather than as a separate movie. But I think, extremely well done. They dealt with a concept that's really hard to deal with, which is like time travel. And not only that, they're brave enough to like go forward in time 5 years and like discuss the impact of all that's happened. They get quite personal in what's happened. I wasn't sure if they'll do the time travel thing. So like the whole thing when they go in, kill Thanos and then just fuck around for 5 years, like nothing's happening in 5 years. It's like, wow, okay, shit. A lot's going on. And I think then dealing with the implications of that was done well. They did my boy Thor wrong, body wise, not powers wise, but I feel like it was funny. It definitely could have happened because of all the things that have happened in his life. But I also thought it was a little bit of a cop out because it was more of a comical decision rather than them going for like a story decision, but it's fine. It's like, whatever. That's cool. Overall, I think it all worked. I am a bit, annoyed that we didn't get to see a Hulk, Bruce Banner and, not Bruce Banner Hulk together or bulk, but, just, a normal
TM.
Hulk and stuff. Yeah. Overall, it was an awesome movie and, it was a great experience.
Yeah, when I first came out, I probably thought it was better than Infinity War, but on watching it afterwards, I think it's not as good as Infinity War. I think a big problem why it is probably because it's just really long. I think if it wasn't that long, it would be an easier movie to digest, but it's just it's like an emotionally heavy movie.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I can't watch it as much.
It's
as
not easy to
Infinity
watch
War.
again and again. Yeah.
Yeah. So, still God tier though. Yeah.
My one problem is that, they do talk about the time paradox, but you can't just say time is a paradox and then like not acknowledge things. There's things that just don't make sense, but I'm totally okay with that because they do acknowledge that it also doesn't make sense, which is the fact that if someone's like, sacrificed for the soul stone, that you can't bring them back despite having access to time travel. that was like, well, that makes no sense, but hey, take it.
Yeah, you take it by
as it
face
is.
value,
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely God tier. The reasons already explained. I guess the only reason why I'd put it lower than Infinity War is not because it's like worse or anything like that. It's because like I can't watch it again and again because it's just such like there's so many scenes that are just that hit you hard. And one of my favorite aspects of the movie is I think it's one of the only movies where you see heroes in defeat. Like they've actually they have lost for the first time in like forever.
Like Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, he sees like he lost like he takes the loss of Spider-Man like personally as we lost his son, and then Captain America is in like a group session, like talking to everyone, trying to help them with their loss of everyone else. Yeah, the way they come back from that is really well done. Yeah, and I guess probably one of the best scenes of the entire MCU is the portal scene at the end, where they bring, at least personally for me at least, where they bring everyone back and that final Avengers theme comes to its climax and it's just everything all at once. It was so cathartic of like 23 movies finally coming to this, or 21 movies coming to this. And yeah, really enjoyed that.
The bit where Black Panther walks out gets me every time.
Yeah,
I was like,
literally.
This is fucking way too good. I can't watch this scene. I can't do it.
It's always too much. Like, just the emotional.
Yeah.
It's, and then obviously Tony Stark dying, and then the ending with Captain America as well, where he goes back in time and doesn't come back.
He has his life. He lives his life. It's really good. Yeah.
That's a bloody good ending.
Yeah.
What they do. Very good.
Well done.
Very happy. Would you just dropped out of this conversation?
He said he's God tier for this, so it's
He's yeeted.
Yeah, he's God tier.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we've got one more left, so we'll talk about that. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yes.
The last movie in Phase 3.
When I initially watched this movie, I thought it was freaking awesome. And then I've rewatched it and I don't think it's that awesome.
Because I remember you came on for the episode for this one, for Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah. I think I gave it like a raving review.
Yeah, you both really liked it, but I was like, I thought Homecoming was better, and I
think Homecoming is better. So the reason I really liked it at the start, it was just like a different side of Spider-Man. It's going on holiday, a different atmosphere, also different villain. I thought that the cool parts were when Howard's developing his spider sense and developing his combat and stuff like that. That was cool. In hindsight, I think there's a little bit too much of Stark technology in it, but that's excusable. I think the whole him trying to impress MJ thing was just like, I felt like they went from MJ being this fucking weird chick to this girl he really wants to like date, like too quickly.
because at the end of the first movie,
She's like some fucking weirdo in that movie.
yeah, and there's no like, you don't get the sense that he wants to be in a relationship
exactly.
with her. Yeah.
So
The only reason why is because in the comic books they are together, but like why does Tom Holland's Peter Parker actually, he's actually interested in MJ like that?
exactly, I feel like
This is not like actual MJ either, I don't think. This is like, this is not the same character.
It's not Mary Jane, it's Mary something else.
Yeah,
or is it
it's like
not even
Michelle
Mary?
something. Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
I don't think it's Mary Jane.
I think it is. They're sure. Whatever.
It's Michelle Jane, but it's basically
Jane.
that she says her name's MJ. It's basically MJ.
I don't know why they didn't just go with Mary
Because
Jane.
they did the switch in the first movie because they said she was Michelle and they
Well, they
didn't
not-
want people to know it was MJ, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throughout this movie, they could have just made Peter Parker kind of, I don't know, like get a crush on or fall in love with MJ. Like they could have used the whole movie or at least half the movie for that. Yeah, develop it. But yeah, whatever. The villain was okay. Mysterio was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, I mean, he's like one of my favorite actors ever. He's awesome. I did like that final scene, like the fight, like the blind fight, just using like the perception of reality and like not opening your eyes and stuff because of how it can fool you. But yeah, I think it lost a little bit of the too much holiday thing,
Definitely, yeah.
lost a bit of its neighborhood charm for Spider-Man.
Something different, but
Yeah. What rating? Jeez. Between good and great. Maybe low great.
I would probably say maybe this one's really tough. I actually have only seen this one once and can't really remember it all that much, but I did like most of it. So I think I would go good.
Actually,
I probably would have revisited it already if I thought it was great. Yeah.
The ending was pretty cool.
Ending was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to give it a good as well. A couple of things. I didn't really enjoy the fact how I felt the whole holiday thing was a bit too drawn out. They spent too much time on like the drama between like Peter Parker, that other kid, and MJ. I felt like
Oh, yeah.
maybe like a scene or two. But like
That guy's a fucking weirdo.
that was literally like an entire sequence,
He's
which I
taking
felt like
photos of him in the toilet as
yeah,
well.
it's super weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, man.
I really liked Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. I felt like he was a good actor. And the whole visuals of Mysterio's powers, I think, was done really well. Cinematics and was capturing that environment of like the illusions that Peter Parker's undergoing was done really well. And I really especially love the scene where he has to make a new suit and you see him becoming the next Tony Stark because like he starts putting the music on and he starts like fiddling around with technology. Like the exact same scene as Iron Man 1 is put into this movie and he starts like creating a new suit and it's literally happy just watching him and he just sees a young Tony Stark, which is really well portrayed.
I thought that was good, but also I wasn't sure how to feel about it. Like,
They're trying to replace
it was
Tony
cool
Stark
nostalgia, but yeah, do you need to? Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I was a bit ambivalent.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I was like, it's cool, but also Spider-Man, he's not Tony Stark.
He's not Tony Stark, right, but he's like,
Yeah.
he's trying to like fill in the shoes that Tony Stark left for him. Because all this time, Peter Parker thought that Mysterio was the one to fill in the shoes. But you
But I
can
also-
clearly see in his actions, he's the next Tony Stark. Not
But should he be? I don't think. I feel like he just can't be the next Tony Stark, and nor should he. In that, like,
I think it's a bit weird to give a kid power to literally overtake the entire world with this, like, with these glasses
that was
that
quite
have
extreme.
access to like this defense mechanism
Yeah.
that can like take down a country. I think it's a bit weird, but maybe he knows who else to give it to. But I don't know what they're going to do with that. And yeah, and I loved
Fury
J.K.
was-
Simmons coming back for J. Jonah Jameson. I love that.
true.
That was my favorite. That was an amazing part.
And Fury wasn't Fury.
Fury, yeah, that was super weird.
But that made sense. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think they just did it as a gimmick, but they didn't wear makeup. Well, like, what's her name? Didn't have makeup on.
Kobe Smulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could tell. I was like, why does she look sick?
Yeah.
But it's
like pale and
because
sick.
she's an alien. They don't know how to put on makeup.
But like, I feel like it's a bit
Yeah.
weird to do it at the end credits scene. Usually it's done as like a insignificant scene. It doesn't really have much of an impact on the story.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in this case, the entire time it's not Nick Fury.
Yeah, I
it's
thought
not
that was a bit of cop out
this.
as well. Yeah.
And he's just in this like hotel resort in space, which like was super weird.
I think it's the next Shield base, right? Oh, that's what I got from it.
I guess if they are doing Shield again, but
Or whatever
making
his
Shield or I
thing
don't know.
is. Yeah, I don't think it's a hotel resort. I think that's where he is with the background,
It's just like a
but it's
projector
actually his
that, like,
ship. Yeah.
For me, it's probably good as well. The comedy is good in this movie. It is pretty funny, similar to the first one. But yeah, like you guys said, when I initially saw it, I thought it was better than what it was. But then I watched it again, and it's kind of a little bit just inconsequential. Like it's just a movie, but it's still good. It's just not amazing or anything.
Did a good job as a sequel.
This is the final listing. I guess within each tier, we'll just come up with an order. So in God, we've got Captain America: Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, Thor: Ragnarok, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame. So first, I think we all agreed that
Infinity
it was
War?
Infinity War. Yep.
What do you put next? Would you put Endgame next?
Civil War.
I'd personally put Endgame next for me.
I'll probably put Endgame next.
Yeah, I'd get Endgame next.
I think next has to be Civil War. Come on.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
next is
Civil War.
And then Winter Soldier or Thor: Ragnarok.
I'll go
Ragnarok.
I'll go.
Mine's Winter Soldier.
I'll put them even.
Well, you can't.
What are you saying?
This one's really hard, actually. Okay, I'll go Winter Soldier.
Fuck. Wait. Thor: Ragnarok or Winter Soldier?
As in which one's better?
Yeah. Within the God tier.
Winter Soldier for me.
So far,
Damn
we've
it.
ranked in Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War. Now it's Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Ragnarok.
so Winter Soldier, then Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then was there another one? Or was that it?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
In Great, we've got Iron Man, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Black Panther.
I think Avengers is one.
Shit.
So
I know.
hard.
I know. This is pretty tough.
I'm gonna go Avengers one.
Yeah, I think Avengers won for me.
Yeah, I'll go Avengers.
Yeah,
one.
Avengers.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
I'll go Guardians two.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
For me,
I'll go Guardians.
Spider-Man.
Guardians is really good too, though. Yeah.
I would go Guardians and then Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree with
go
that.
Guardians.
So what did you say?
Spider-Man. I think
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Okay, so we're going Spider-Man, then Guardians.
Then Guardians. Yep.
And then
Now
I'll
it's out of
probably
Iron Man and
go...
Black Panther.
I'd go Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man,
Iron Man.
Iron Man, then Black Panther.
Iron Man, Black Panther. Yeah.
In good, we've got Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America: First Avenger, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I'll put Far From Home one.
Yeah, Far From Home.
Yeah, Far From Home. I would go Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go Ultron. Yeah.
I reckon.
And then I'll probably go Ant-Man.
First Avenger?
I would go Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man's better.
For me, it's
You
First
guys-
Avenger, but
You guys love
happy to put
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Okay, now we'll go Ant-Man, and then
Clearly don't. It's not. It's in good.
Then I would go...
so Thor. We've got Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America: First Avenger, and Doctor Strange left.
Doctor Strange.
I think Doctor Strange, yeah. And then First Avenger.
What do you guys think?
I would go First Avenger, then Doctor Strange.
Yeah, First Avenger.
For me, it's First Avenger.
Fuck. What? Are you serious?
And then Doctor Strange.
And then Doctor
Then it's
Strange.
Doctor Strange, and then it's the Hulk?
Thor, and then Hulk, I think.
So it's between Hulk and Thor. Thor's always better than Hulk.
I would go Thor, then Hulk.
Yeah, Thor.
Yeah. Yeah, Thor then Hulk.
In just a movie, we've got Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Guardians 2-1, in my opinion.
No, I actually agree. I think it's one out of these four.
Wait, say it again.
Yeah. So Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fair.
I'm going to
And
say
then
Iron
I'll-
Man 2, just throw it out there.
I'll go Iron Man 3 before I go Iron Man 2.
Nah, I think Iron Man 2 is
Iron
better
Man
than 3.
2?
Just.
I'd go Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'll go 3-2 Ant-Man Wasp.
I would go 2-3 Ant-Man Wasp.
Okay, I guess it's 2-3 Ant-Man Wasp. What were you going to say, Kadra? Same thing?
He wanted to put Iron Man 2 first on that list, didn't you?
Kind of. But now I'm thinking, like, I don't know, it's a bit difficult because, like, Iron Man 2 as a whole movie is entertaining, but it's not the best. But Iron Man 3 is more interesting in Tony Stark, so I don't know. Maybe Iron Man 3 over 2 then.
It doesn't matter, they outruled us.
And finally, in not good, we've got Thor: The Dark World and Captain Marvel.
Thor the Dark World.
Captain Marvel, then
Thor
Thor.
Dark.
Thor the Dark World. Then
Captain Marvel, then Thor.
I'll go Captain Marvel, Thor.
No.
What did you say?
Thor Dark
Second,
World,
yeah.
then Captain Marvel.
Yes, that's what I said. Thor Dark World, Captain Marvel.
Oh, wait, am I? is this
Yeah,
split?
we're good.
Yeah, I'd probably go.
What do you mean? You
Thor
probably
Dark
you put it
World.
in trash. You put it in trash.
Yeah, I didn't I? Thor Dark World. Thor Dark World. Yeah, Thor Dark World, then Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Captain
what it
Marvel
is.
ended up
Yeah.
a lot lower on the list than I probably would have put it.
Yes. Great success.
My personal tier list would look a whole lot different.
Mine would too, but
I think
Captain
God
Marvel
tier
was-
everything
This
everything
works, man.
was
You're
what I
crying.
thought.
You're
Yeah.
crying. It's
Yeah.
a great tier list.
I think for me, God tier and trash was what I wanted. That's all I wanted. I just wanted the start and the finish. Whatever's in the middle is okay.
Basically, everything
You're
Russo
actually writing
touched.
it out.
So this is the official list, certified. It is what it's going to stand for the
We'll
test of
sign
time.
it.
Sorry, Taran.
This is the truth and the only truth.
Can we just change the God tier to Russo instead?
It's basically all their movies.
Basically, Russo,
Basically
right?
all their movies.
Every movie is Russo.
Ragnarok.
Oh, true.
Taika.
Russo and
But
Taika.
all of the Russo movies
the
are in God
movies,
tier.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Okay, so the final list in order is Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, Ragnarok, The Avengers, then Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man 1, Black Panther, Spider-Man Far From Home, Ultron, Ant-Man 1, Captain America the First Avenger, Doctor Strange, Thor, then The Incredible Hulk, then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, then Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor the Dark World, and Captain Marvel.
I need to watch Winter Soldier again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still watch all the God tier again.
I watch Thor Ragnarok 3 times a day, so
Really?
no.
Okay then, thanks for listening to this very, very long episode, Marvel tier list. We finally got through it. That's the definitive list. If people want to get in touch with us, you can get in touch via
Cognitiverecalibration.com.au.
He did it again, boys. 3 times in a row. He's nailed it. Will the other ones come out before this? Well, he's done it 3 times now.
Yeah, one's out.
It's Cognitive Recalibration Podcast at gmail.com and on all other platforms, Cognitive Recalibration.
Not even a website.
And if you want to support the podcast, please give us a good review on Spotify or iTunes. You can also further support the podcast via using our Amazon affiliate links, which are linked below with all the Marvel movies. You can also give us a donation via Buy Me a Coffee, which we'll use to further develop the podcast. Thanks to our guests for joining us on this. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thanks for having us, boys.
And thanks to you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Hope you're staying safe.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
And a Happy New Year.
Very nice.